All right, so it looks like I'm live with the fellow who refuses to die. How are you, man?
Oh, I can't complain, brother. How are you?
Well, you obviously can't fucking complain. You keep fucking cheating death, you lucky motherfucker. That's ridiculous. What should I call you? Should I call you TJ or your
You
channel
can call
name?
me. You can call me Patch. It's good. Everybody else calls me Patch.
Patch. No worries. So just to get everyone introduced to you, you've you've had cancer. What, 3 times? You've beaten cancer 3 times?
4 times.
Four
Four.
times.
Yes.
And you've had how many heart attacks?
3.
Holy fuck! And you've had a foot surgically reattached.
Right. And 5 back surgeries.
Holy fuck!
And now I suffer from COPD, and I'm type 2 insulin diabetic now.
Holy shit! Oh, I mean, if the heart attacks and the cancer didn't get you, fucking that's child's play, mate. I wouldn't worry about that. So tell me, how did you lose a foot? Were you in the army or something? Or?
Well, I am prior military. I'm prior United States Navy, but no, I lost my foot in an accident doing construction.
Fuck!
I fell through a hole, and we're working on drainage, so we're putting in pipes. The old pipes were made out of corrugated tin. So how they used to do that was they would have guys walking up the sides of the road with big sticks, big metal pokers, to poke and see if the sticks were actually, if the tin was actually good or not. Well, I fell through one of them sideways. The leg went in, the whole right leg went in, and these guys that were going to pull me out, instead of following how I went in, they tried to pull me straight out.
Oh.
When they did, they pulled my foot off in the skin.
So it was.
So what happened was, it was detached from the ankle joint. So imagine your wrist and then pulling it off, but it's still in the skin now. Okay. So I didn't know this for 4 hours. I thought I sprung it because I was wearing high leg jump boots. So it's all the way up to your knee. Yeah. I walked on it for 4 hours without knowing it. So we're still running in the joint, but once it got to the point where I couldn't walk on it anymore, they took me to the emergency room, and they literally had to cut the boot off. And when they did, my foot did the old pendulum trick, swings back and forth. I passed the fuck out, and I don't remember nothing for hours.
Oh, don't blame you. That's fucking fucked. I did that once. I had the old pendulum thing going with my thumb once. I almost cut my thumb off once. I put it through a buzzsaw, through a table saw. That was
that's not very smart.
Yeah, I don't advise it. I don't advise it. So I don't
either.
I actually have I've got a titanium knuckle in my left hand, my left thumb now. So, which was a bit dicey because I've always I've played guitar from a very young age, and so it completely changed the way I hold the guitar and the way that I play. I had to basically learn to play the guitar again. It was kind of fucked, but yeah, I was lucky I didn't get that amputated. So surely there was a I mean, was there a point where they were just going to lop it off and be done with it?
Nope, I was too young. They reattached it, and what happened was when they reattached it, they put me in a full leg cast up to my thigh to keep any sort of motion from happening. So from the tip of my toes to my thigh, I was wearing a cast for 6 months. And when they took the cast off, they found out that my foot had grown back crooked.
Crooked?
Because I broke, the bones at the top of your foot, the metatarsals.
Yeah.
I'd broken some of those when they pulled it out, and they didn't know it when they did the surgery to put my foot back together. They had to re-break it. And when they did, it shattered all the metatarsals in my foot. So then they gave me this lovely little device that I wear. I have 2 of them. I wear that quite frequently.
Shit.
Yeah. And I have a smaller one that I wear when I'm in the house. That's my industrial leg. And I have a minor leg that I wear when I'm sitting at the house doing nothing so it doesn't kill me.
Yeah, you're at home leg.
Yeah, pretty much. So like I go to the grocery store and shit. Little kids are like, "Mommy, look at the pirate." And me being a smart ass by nature, I walk up to him and go, "Well, yeah, I'm not just missing an eye, but then I beat on the leg and go, I'm missing a leg too."
Yeah, you should get a hook. You should get a hook just for the fuck of it. carry your bags.
That would be fucking funny.
That would be.
That would be fucking funny. Jesus.
So hurdles off the list of possibilities for now.
Yeah, no, this happened in early 2000s.
Yep.
So I've been walking without sticks now for a good 10, 12 years. Easy. But
Yep.
they told me I never walk again right. I walk fairly well. I've got a pretty pronounced limp, and the time when I get tired, the limp gets worse.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough. So does that limit your ability to run or jog?
Yeah, I don't run. Yeah, it doesn't
Mm.
run. Because this brace comes up to just under my knee.
Yep.
And you have to have that flexation. I have no frontal
Yep.
the flexation in my foot to actually run.
Yeah. Yeah. I had to give up doing thumb wars. It was devastating.
I understand.
War stories. Eh?
My whole Dancing with the Stars aspirations just shot the hell.
Yeah. It'll do that. Yeah. So tell me about the first time you got cancer. Can I ask what sort of cancer it was?
I had ocular brain cancer.
So that's the reason for the eye patch, obviously.
Right. Well, see, what happened was this was 97. I just come off the injuries to my back. I started to get have an eye issue where my eye started to swell up.
Yeah.
And what ended up happening was I had a tumor growing under my frontal facial plate.
Yeah.
And it was pushing everything out and up.
Fuck.
Then what happened was the doctors didn't know it, and I was working construction and working at another job, and we had our 5-year-old at the time.
Yeah.
Who's now 26, and I went to see a couple of doctors. They first told me that they thought it was a muscle infection or a bone infection in my eye. Gave me a bunch of meds for that. Then when the eye actually, what happened is around the eye socket, the skin and everything started to subturate, start to open, split. Well, I bled for 18 months out of my face before anybody figured out it was a tumor.
Jeez.
So I went all this time with nobody diagnosing it correctly. And when they finally diagnosed it correctly, they told me I had 6 months to live.
Yeah, fucking hell.
Yeah, make your peace with God, put your kids' affairs in order, and, get ready to meet the maker.
Yeah. And so they said it was terminal. And so, I mean, at some point they obviously thought, oh, fuck it, we'll give an operation a crack.
Mm-hmm. No operation.
Really?
It was inoperable. But what they did was they sent me. I went to see another doctor. I got a second opinion.
Yeah.
When I got the second opinion, they started. This is back when they first started. Do you know what radiation seeding is?
I don't know. Tell me.
Okay, radiation seeding is where they take little metal spheres and they fill it with a radioactive isotope and they stick it where the cancer is.
Yep.
Okay, so it gets directly localized treatment. But what they did was they put it all the way around here, up into here, because what had happened was the tumor had grown behind the eye, up into my face, up into my frontal lobe.
Yeah.
And to show you the eye, see people, there's meat.
Yeah.
That's about it, not much else.
Spooky.
But so they did that. I was doing chemo 6-week intervals, 6 days a week.
Yeah.
So I do it for 6 weeks and have to stop for a couple of weeks because my body couldn't take anymore. And about a year and a half later is when I started. When they figured out that I wasn't going to drop dead, I got rid of it. They came back with a clean blood test, which meant there was no cancer cells. I had to do chemo for 6 more months after that just to prevent recurring in the same spot.
So you're doing chemo for a couple of years or something?
Yeah, the first time was a couple of years.
Fucking hell, Jesus! And so what was the second bout of cancer?
I had cancer in both lymph nodes and underneath both arms.
Fuck. And so same thing again, chemo.
Yeah, but actually, what happened was the lymph nodes had gotten apparently impacted, and they found cancer cells in there. So they went through to do the same exact thing, except this time they couldn't put seeds in because there's not a whole lot of nothing to really graft to.
Yeah.
Seeding is primarily for bone issues. When you try to put them in actual meat, they just kind of float around.
Yeah.
So we did massive chemo and radiation. I had this arm done. Then when I got done with this arm, I had a lump come up under this arm, like 6 months after I was clean.
Fuck.
And then the final one was in my lung.
You beat lung cancer.
Yeah, stage 2.
And so chemo. Yeah.
Well, this was 8 years ago, 7.5, 8 years ago is when I beat the last one. They had found nodes in my lung,
Yep.
On top of diagnosing with COPD, they found nodes in my lung that were growing. And they
Yep.
said I had small cells, so I did the same thing, chemo radiation, for approximately 2.5 years.
Yeah. Hello.
But
Yeah, someone's in the background saying hello.
hello.
Is that's your
That's
son?
my youngest daughter.
Oh, that's your daughter, right?
Yeah, that's my
Hello.
youngest.
And so you've beaten cancer 4 times, was it, or 3?
Yes, 4.
4.
I'm clean and free. I'm free and clear now.
So what was the 4th one?
The lung cancer.
Right.
Two separate incidents.
Yeah, so they had one arm, then it was the second arm.
Right. It was in the other arm.
Yep. And so what about the heart attacks? Was that sort of in between all this?
That was in between all of it. And that was primarily from the medications that I was on.
Yep.
What caused my heart to do was beat too fast and then stop.
Fuck. And so are we talking sort of pass out and rush to hospital and that sort of thing?
Yes. The first time it happened, I was at a wrestling event. I used to wrestle for a living on and off, do independent wrestling. I was at a wrestling event and I had the first heart attack. And they had to rush me from the event straight to the hospital.
Yeah.
And I spent 2 days there, and I didn't think it was because of all the meds and the shit that my body's been through with everything else. I mean, I've had 5 back surgeries. So it's like everything that my body's been through. I'm surprised my heart was still ticking.
Yeah, fucking hell. Fuck. And so I mean, surely all this changes the way that you sort of changes your general outlook on life. I mean, can you like what sort of differences do you find in yourself, like the way you sort of think about death and the way you sort of treat day-to-day life?
I don't allow things to get me pissed off like it used to.
Yep.
I used to be a real aggressive type. I'm still aggressive, but I was a lot more aggressive.
Yep.
A lot more quick to take offense to things that didn't really matter anymore. That shit doesn't matter once you've dealt with all this other crap. That stuff never matters.
I suppose a lot of things would sort of seem petty after going through all that. Yeah. And so would you say that you're afraid of death, or are you not at all?
Been there. I've looked it in the eye and I didn't blink and I came back. So you're all going to die anyway. Eventually, one day we're all going to fucking kick it. And when we do, that's the end of it. So the fact that I've survived it 4 times and beaten everything else, death is just the end of the journey. Or the end of this journey and the beginning of another. So yeah, that's kind of how I look at it.
Sure. And so throughout any of this, did you ever have like a near-death experience? Did you ever go through that?
No. You're talking about an out-of-body thing? No, I was too medicated.
Yeah.
If I did, I don't remember it because they hadn't had such medications back then. It wasn't even funny.
So you never went through the whole life flashing before your eyes type thing, or tunnels or anything like that?
No.
Yeah. I watched a pretty fascinating documentary the other day about a guy who studies what's it called, deja vu, and he's come up with an interesting theory where he reckons there's a possibility that the life flashing before your eyes thing that a lot of people experience before, when they have a near-death experience, could actually be sort of evidence to go towards supporting the possibility that time could basically just, in your head at the second of death, time could basically just start again. You relive your life type thing, and it just keeps reoccurring type thing. Because I mean, time is and it's really not measurable, is it? I mean, your minute might be completely different to my minute, and there's just no way to tell.
Right. That's possible. It goes back to something I said in one of my videos, last 2 or 3 days ago. Your issues are going to be important to you because they're your issues.
Yeah.
Everybody's issues are different. So, the things that I went through, they were the be-all end-all because I was going through them. Not the same for everybody because they don't look at your issues the same as if they have something similar going on because it's not affecting them personally.
Yeah.
But the whole at the end of death and the light switches out, the light switches back on. That's highly possible.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's just I never had any of those experiences because I was on so much medication, and half the time all I was doing was throwing up and just being miserable.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I believe you're a Christian, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And so have you been a Christian all your life, or has this been something that?
I was born Catholic.
Yep.
I studied to be a priest at a seminary when I was in high school.
Is that right?
Yeah. So I mean, I've always been, if not so much practicing, but I've always been a Christian or a Catholic. You know, that's just how I was born that way.
Yeah. And so did all these experiences did they affect your faith in any way? Did they change it? Did they strengthen it? How did it? What affected it?
Initially, it killed my faith because I was like, I've got a 5-year-old. When the first time I got sick, I had a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, how the fuck can I leave?
Yeah.
Leaving her behind,
Yeah.
And it pissed me off a lot because, like, dude, I just came back over being paralyzed from the chest down for 3.5 years. Then I get sick a year later.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And so it sort of waned your faith. So how long? I mean, what restored it? Was it another bout of cancer or a heart attack that restored it, or was
beating everything?
Yeah.
2007, my first wife passed away from thyroid cancer.
I'm sorry to hear that.
So that was like, dude, it's like I beat all of this. I'm still here, so there's got to be a reason.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I've looked at. Look at life is I'm still here, and every minute I'm still breathing is a chance to do something different to make things for my situation or somebody else's situation better.
Yeah.
And that's just how I view life.
Yeah. Yeah. And so,
mind you, I hate stupidity, but and I like to eat members of the tribe called Moron and the Snowflake Brigade, but that's just because I have fun doing that. I'm smart as by nature.
It is fun. I agree with you. and so, I mean, do you think all of these experiences have? I mean, I would imagine that they would sort of put you in a position where you have somewhat, more patience with dealing with idiots. I mean.
Well, it depends on the type of idiocy.
Yep.
Okay, like the stuff that you and I watch and we make comments on, I don't have any patience for that.
Yep.
I can't stand self-entitled morons who think that I owe them something.
Yeah.
For shit that happened to ancestors 200 years ago.
Yeah.
My folks my people weren't even here 200 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I have less patience for that than with, like, if something stupid happens or a mistake happens or, we break a car key. I don't get all bent out of shape over dumb shit like that because it could be fixed.
Yeah. Exactly.
Terminal stupidity, I don't have any patience for it.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are terminally stupid.
Yeah. And so just back on the faith thing. I mean, what happens after we die? Do you have a strong position on it? I mean, do you hold the standard?
I don't hold the standard. We go to heaven and everything is peaches and cream. I don't know what happens. I just know something happens.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I mean, it's energy doesn't die, doesn't it? It transfers, and until
that's what I said, because you can't ever kill energy.
Yeah.
You can't destroy actual energy, and that's an actual fact from the astrophysics. You cannot kill energy.
Yeah. So that's fucking intriguing. And so after all this and through all this, you actually volunteer at a cancer ward, and so you actually speak to cancer patients, like terminal cancer patients.
Yeah, I used to do a lot of the stuff for the children's wards, because I'd bring some of the guys that I wrestled with when I was still living on the East Coast, and they'd come down and make a day out of it. Because if they don't see people that actually survive, they don't have that hope of, hey, if this guy can beat it and he's nothing special, then I could beat it too. Statistically speaking, a lot more children die from juvenile cancer than adults do from adult cancer.
Right, I didn't know that. And
that's a statistic, yeah.
And so that's an interesting take. So it has the effect of like an inspirational effect. Have you ever sort of sensed someone sort of being like, fuck you, motherfucker? How come you got to?
Quite a few times. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so does that come up often? How do you deal with that? Do you just sort of slink away and just
I don't sneak away from anything.
Yeah. So
sneaking away doesn't get you anywhere.
So how would you deal with that? How would you
It depends on what the situation is. It's like, if this kid's terminal and got 6 weeks to live,
yeah,
you try to talk to him, you try to encourage him, but if nothing else, you got to sit and just listen to him.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing else you can really do. If he already knows, dude, the expiration date has been stamped on his foot like a gallon of milk, then you really can't do anything about that except try to make the last 6 weeks that he's got better, mentally and emotionally, whatever. But there are just some cases where you just know there's nothing they can do. But you have to try and make it so this kid's last 6 weeks, he's not dwelling on it all the time.
Yeah. So that'd be you'd have experienced some fucking heartbreaking situations.
Yeah, I have, and it's been rough, and but the bottom line is, it's stuff that you got to do, especially when you've been through it before. You have to be able to share what you've gone through, especially when it comes down to dealing with the times where not only are you throwing up, not only are you bleeding from places you never thought you could bleed from all the meds, the chemo, and the radiation. Not only are you losing, 60, 70 pounds, but then you also got your head playing fuck you games with you because now the meds are fucking with your brain.
Yeah.
When I first got over the brain cancer, the eye and brain cancer, I couldn't speak. I didn't know how to speak. I had to learn how to write. I had to learn how to tie my shoes again because this part of your brain controls a lot of those things.
Yeah.
And sometimes my memory is not so great.
Yeah. And that's an aspect I suppose I haven't considered. I mean, we all know how chemo and cancer treatments can really fuck with your body. But how does that sort of stuff fuck with your brain? I mean, does it?
Well, a lot of times it puts you in a constant state of depression.
Yeah. And
a constant state of anger.
Right.
Especially when you see a lot of people who are fucking healthy and taking shit for granted all the time. Like the ability to walk through the front door of someplace and walk to your car.
Yeah. Yeah, shit. And so the like the stages of grief that people talk about. There's I forget what they are, but there's the 4 or 5 stages of grief. Do you find that have you ever sort of gone through that with yourself? I mean,
no, I don't. I never came to acceptance. I never came to bargaining. I got what they used to call pissed off positive.
Yep.
I don't take orders very well. I don't follow commands very well. So when they say, "Oh, you're gonna die," I'm like, "Yeah, fuck you."
Yeah, go fuck yourself, I am.
Yeah. That's basically what I told the doctor. The first month I found out I was gonna die, all I did was drink. I allowed myself to feel sorry for myself, and then I got pissed off one day. And a friend of mine told me, "You're not a gallon of milk." I'm like, "The fuck are you talking about? I'm not a gallon of milk." There's no expiration. There's no expiration date on you like there is on a gallon of milk. You look at a gallon of milk, there's always an expiration date. Used by. If you don't use it by then, it spoils and you toss it.
That's a good analogy.
There's no expiration date on your foot, or in the back of your ear, or in the barcode that they want to put on your fucking neck. There's no expiration date.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
And when I figured that out, and I figured out that my actions were hurting my family at the time, I just decided to get pissed off because I was maxing out. They're all telling me, "Oh, just give it up." I'm like, well, they wouldn't even treat me. I was like, well, fuck it. I'll find somebody else that will. And then I did. I do all this shit just to get by.
Yeah, fair enough.
I ate the parrot, white slave. It annoyed me.
Yeah. And so, so you sort of realised that feeling sort of sorry for yourself was affecting your family, and so that
right.
Sort of, fuck, that's interesting.
That's the thing is too, when you get negative, like when you get all the, feeling sorry for yourself, that's a negative emotion. And when negative emotions spring out of you, you affect 10 people with that negative emotion.
Yeah.
So it makes them negative. I try to live the other way. Yeah, no,
that's a good outlook. So tell me, I'm interested in your opinion on. I had a fellow. I've spoken with a guy a couple of times by the name of Rowan, who is a what does he call himself? He calls me a deathist because I accept the fact that everyone's going to die. He believes that he's going to live forever. He believes there's a possibility that he'll be able to physically live forever. Have you
He's crazy.
Have you seen any of that?
No, he's crazy. There's nobody gonna live forever.
He's
I don't give a
crazy.
fuck what they say. Moron's crazy. He's been smoking too much chronic or some shit. He's crazy.
Yeah, Billy Bong in
That's,
the chat. Yeah, that's right. Eternal Life fan Rowan. He's a funny bastard. But an interesting topic came up with in my last chat with him. Transhumanism, and it's not cutting dicks off and that sort of thing. It's the idea that that we possibly might in the future be able to transfer our consciousness from our body to a storage device or a computer or a fucking jar of fucking goo, or I don't know, whatever it may be. What do you think that will? Do you think there's a possibility that might be possible someday?
if they've developed AI, actual AI, not what we've got now, possibly, but it's not a matter of transferring your actual consciousness. What you're doing is kind of like that. There was a movie 10, 20 years ago, Lawnmower Man, I think it was called, where the guy transferred all of his thoughts and all of his wave energy into a computer.
Yep.
That, I can't say that's not possible because technically all we are a bunch of energy synapses firing.
Yeah.
And they can plot and map your brain almost to the T. They don't know what half the shit does, but they can make little map plots or plot points for your brain to tell you what's firing where. So anything's possible, but you wouldn't be living in the same body.
Yeah, and I mean, there's the big question is what you're doing just a copy of your memories and a copy of the information? I mean, that's not necessarily your consciousness, your point of view, is it? I mean, how would you even? How would you
know? It'd be like cloning. It'd be like being a clone. How would you know?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I was watching something. I think it was just yesterday where they were talking about this sort of thing, and the question came up. A lot of people sort of think that if you could transfer your consciousness, say, to a storage device or to a computer or something, that could be seen as living on, as an afterlife almost type thing. But isn't it interesting where if it was the other way around, no one considers the same thing. So in other words, if your consciousness was to die, and another consciousness was to be transferred to your body somehow, and your body was to live on, people would accept that as death. But the other way around, people would normally accept that as living on. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. The problem with that theory is, in order to have your body continue living on for more than the 80, 90, some people 115 years that you've been allotted, because now your body breaks down. That's what causes us to die, actually.
Yeah.
We should never have to die, but the way your body works is it's only infinite for X amount of years. Then it becomes a finite piece of equipment because it starts to wear and tear. Now, if they can manage to transfer, change your hands as they get old, change your heart as it gets old, and do all these cloning things with your own body parts, it'd be like a chop for humans. Then that'd be a possibility. But if you're putting my brain or my consciousness into your body, it's not me anymore, technically.
Yeah, well, I mean, who is it? I mean, if you could put your consciousness into someone else's body, is that then you? Is it them? Is it both? It's an interesting question, isn't it?
It would be. I would think it would be a conglomeration of both, because your body has what they call memory.
Yeah.
The memory doesn't reside in your head; it resides in your body too. It's muscle memory. Okay, I used to lift weights a lot, and I used to work out a lot. If I started doing that again, my muscles would start to pop again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Without me having to really put a lot of effort into it, because my body remembers that you do this, these will get bigger, or become more defined or whatever. But see, in light of that, there's a saying or a train of thought that says that every time you come down here, when a baby is born, it decides what it's going to do in heaven, for lack of a better word. And you come down here and you live out that life. You learn what you can learn from it, and when you die, you go back up there. And you get to come back again as something else or somebody else. So you can learn another experience. I don't know if I hold that to be, having any sort of legitimacy, but it's an interesting concept.
Yeah.
That goes back to transferring your consciousness to something else.
Yeah. Do you watch? Do you like Ricky Gervais, the comedian?
Yeah, I've watched him a few times. I actually watch him on YouTube a lot.
Tits and I we've got a series of podcasts that he did with Carl Pilkington, his little bald-headed producer. And there's a comment that Carl made in one of the last ones we listened to. It was he said, yeah, I've always wondered, am I in charge of my brain, or is my brain in charge of me?
It's a very good question, though. I mean, that's a very good question. Yeah,
well, it's both a fucking stupid question and a good question at the same. Like, it's sort of it's kind of both, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I would have to err on the side that my brain controls me and not the other way around, because without the brain, well, as you've seen people in persistent vegetative states, they're not controlling shit.
Yeah, but on the same token, you are your brain, aren't you? I mean, without your brain, what is you?
Very true, very true. That's where you're in. Your subconscious holds all your memories and who you are, because you're a sum of your memories, basically.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, and so you have, you've started your own YouTube channel. That's good.
Yes, sir. I've been wanting to do it for a while, but not having a real adequate space with some semblance of quiet and things like that to really do something. It just never was possible before I moved out to California. Now it's possible, and I have the right gear. Short of a couple of things, like I want to get a regular cam instead of the webcam, so I can do more professional stuff and get some actual editing video software and audio software.
Yep.
I've got a great rig for it. It's an octa-core, 4.2 gigahertz processor.
Yep.
I'm loving it with 32 gigabyte RAM.
Yeah.
Not much I can't do with this little beast. But
yeah. And so what's your channel going to focus on? Will it largely be this similar sort of realm as me and sort of Undoomed and those sort of people?
Yes.
Like laughing at idiots.
Right, and improving, and it's showing them how, and it's showing people how erroneous their thought processes are.
Yep.
So you do that you and Undoomed do that in ways that, while I'm a smartass, I'm a bit meaner when it comes to being a smartass than you guys are. You guys do it in a lot more comedic way, which makes me laugh my ass off, literally.
Yeah.
I mean, that Steve dude just makes me freaking giggle at his stupidity.
Steve, he's a bank of wisdom, isn't he?
yeah, right. He's a pack of wisdom that needs to be flushed down the toilet, because that wisdom is not something anybody really needs to hear, except 2 brain cell amoebas. I know.
He's a confused individual. He's something else, Steve.
I agree.
Yeah, and so that's how regularly do you think you'll be making videos? Is it something that you're gonna work on pretty constantly, or just
yes? It's gonna be pretty constant. It's gonna be pretty constant as time permits. We've got girls in homeschool, so I tend to try and help them a lot with homeschooling. We have a pretty busy life during the day, so my videos will probably be more posted in the evening.
Yep.
Or early mornings when I have time. But I want to do it more often and more frequent.
Yeah, fair enough. Someone in the chat's just asking, anyone know what video editing software Bearing uses? I use a program called Camtasia that Sargon of Akkad put me onto. It's a pretty sort of middle of the road editing suite. It's not as complicated and sort of confusing as Premiere Pro and those sorts of things. It's a lot easier, but it's at the same time it's got enough bells and whistles to do what I do, sort of thing. So you can do some cool things with it, but it's not fucking not rocket surgery.
Rocket surgery, I like that.
Yeah. So you're from California. That's interesting. I understand.
No, originally, I'm from New York. I just moved to California about 1.5 years ago.
Oh, right. So I understand. Ben Shapiro just did his speech at Berkeley. That should have been interesting.
Yeah, that should be interesting. I love Ben.
Yes,
I talked to Ben on Twitter, and we've messaged a few times over on Facebook. He's a pretty smart, intelligent dude.
He is.
Got his shit together most of the time.
Yeah. So I wonder what I'll have a look at that once we finish streaming. But it'll be interesting to see what the Antifa people and that did. Like I was thinking about it the other day. Like I can actually imagine some of them, chanting Nazi at him, which would just be so ironic, you know, calling a Jewish conservative a fucking Nazi. Oh, I wonder if that happened.
Well, he's even more than a conservative Jewish person. He's an Orthodox Jew, which is even, you know, they're firm believers in the Torah and everything else. So yeah, it's not like just going off down the block and you go to the local bagel shop and call that guy a Nazi because he's Jewish. But yeah, it's even funnier calling him a Nazi or a white supremacist when you know, he was voted last year as like the #1 for hate mail and hate.
Yeah, that was by
the white supremacist. That's funny shit.
Yeah. That was I think that was the Anti-Defamation League that said that. But yeah, so he's a full Orthodox Jew. He wears a little plate on his head and everything. Right,
he wears a yarmulke on his head. Yeah, he's full Orthodox.
Yeah. Wicked cake in the chat said, I did Nazi that coming.
I only saw half of it.
Yeah,
I only saw half of it coming, son.
Yeah.
But
well, that's going to be
my channel's going to be like you guys.
That's going to be a fucking interesting watch. That
his sessions are always an interesting watch because I always love to watch the idiots get up and cry and, you know, like him and Ann Coulter get together and these people fucking lose their shit, man.
Yeah,
they're like, it's the second coming of the Antichrist. Well, they never really had the first coming yet, but now they got the second coming because they got him and Ann together.
Yeah, and it's particularly going to be an interesting watch because, I mean, Ben Shapiro is not a provocateur. He's not a Milo. Yeah,
he's not Milo.
He's not there to piss people off and to arc people up. He's there to actually speak about issues that he's concerned about. So it's it's going to be fascinating. Apparently they fucking cordoned off about six buildings. There was a police ring and all that.
They also cut his fucking audience membership in half as far as who could attend the actual event. They went from 2,000 seats, which is what that venue holds, so he could only have 1,000 people, and the others had to be open for in case protesters wanted to show up, and to keep the numbers down, so in case something kicked off outside, the 2,000 people that were inside wouldn't come outside and kick the shit out of the morons from the outside.
I think the other concern as well was that they were apparently concerned that Antifa members would come in and go to the second level and literally rip out bolted seats and chuck them off the balcony, for fuck's sake.
Well, I mean, would you see what the fuck these idiots do? Is it any surprise that they worry about that?
No,
I mean, Jesus Christ.
That's the sad part about it, isn't it? You know, it's not a surprise. No, I could see him doing that.
You know, it's funny. I live in California now, and you see a lot of the bullshit, like at Berkeley and UCLA, you know, San Diego. But when I'm out and I've got my hat on, I get a lot of people that'll thank me for my service. So I don't get the same anti-military, anti-cop thing that goes on elsewhere in California.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen really here. So I've been lucky in
that. Yeah. And so what? Do you live in a particular part of California where that's not so bad?
I live about an hour outside of LA.
Yep.
You know, I live close to Simi Valley.
Yeah, fair enough. And so where do you think where do you think this is all going? How do you think all this shit's going to culminate? I mean, this business of protesting people's speeches and deplatforming and just really having zero tolerance for opposing opinions and you know having no patience for other point of views. How do you think this is going to culminate? Do you think it'll culminate soon? And what do you think will happen?
Well, as you're seeing now, a lot of the leftist snowflake entitled millennial fucktards are slowly but surely they're seeing that they're not getting anywhere, so they're starting to drop off.
Yep.
What you're going to end up being left with are the BLM morons, the Antifa morons, who I think will end up taking each other out because they're fighting at their own rallies. So
yeah,
quite fucking amusing when they're eating their own.
That's an interesting
angle. Like a bunch of rats in a little cage. What happens is not enough space. They start eating their own. You know, cannibalism can be a great thing with these idiots.
Cannibalism can be a great thing. That's a quote. So I mean, I noticed the other week the fucking, you know, some of the mainstream media outlets like the CNNs and the NBCs were actually starting to acknowledge what was happening with Antifa, and then they were starting to acknowledge that some of the things they're doing are not good. That's a positive sign, surely.
Well, they kind of had no choice.
Yeah.
You could only sugarcoat and gloss over and hide with the blanket. Just so much shit before there's not a big enough blanket to hide the shit. And when some of their own people, like there was a reporter that got the shit knocked out of him, I think it was from CNN. He was there on his own time, just watching the shit go down, and he was trying to talk to a couple of these guys to get their opinions, and they beat the shit out of him, tried to snatch his camera. So he posted a lot of stuff from that event. Yeah. And his review was scathing, which is one of the first people to actually do that. And then everybody else started getting on the bandwagon. Yeah. Yeah, well, it's a positive thing, because I mean they were sort of just they just had their head buried in the sand previously, didn't they? It was getting fucking ridiculous. I was wondering when that was going to break, and I'm glad it has broken. Right. Well, I mean, you guys have the same sort of similar issues in Australia. Yep. With people acting stupid, you know, with the radical Islamic terrorism stuff going on, and you can't say shit because you're afraid of who you're going to offend. And my theory is, I don't give a fuck if I offend you. If I offend you, don't listen to me. Yeah, that's your problem. Yeah. You know, you don't like what I say, you have the right not to listen to me or argue with me. Yeah. But if you lay hands on me, I can guarantee things are going to happen. I'm going to go to jail. You're going to go to ICU. I'm just not going to allow people to lay hands on me and not do anything about it. Yeah, that was chilling. Alexander Brooks says, "Bear with me and shout me out." Okay, Alexander. You have been shouted out. So so that's good. I'm subscribed to your channel. I'll be watching your videos with interest, because I think you've got a really interesting perspective to be talking about these things, sort of having come from the background you've come from. So there's a link to your channel in the description. What's your channel name? How do you? It's called Tannis, TANNISS. But I found I might have to change that to something different, because when you look up Tannis in the search bar for YouTube, it brings up a fuck ton of stuff. I'm like, holy shit. Yeah. So my wife was looking at it the other day, and she couldn't find me. I was like, babe, I can't find you. So I just had to send her a link to one of the videos on Facebook. I was like, here it is. Yeah. You should go with like just the patch or something like that. Yeah, I might change it to the patch speaks or something like that. Yeah. You know? Yeah, just for the hell of it. Yeah, nice. Yeah, so if everyone checks out your channel and go subscribe, I think you're going to come out with some really interesting stuff in the future as all this stuff sort of progresses. Especially being in California yourself, you're sort of in the epicenter of most. It's like being the epicenter of the fucking apocalypse. I swear. Yeah. Just some of the shit they're passing, the laws they're passing, like they're passing the law. They're trying to pass a bill stating that you could go to, they're passing a bill if you mispronoun somebody in an old age home, you're going to jail and you're going to pay $1,000 fine. I'm like, yeah, fuck you, I'll stay in jail. Yeah, I actually did a video about that a couple of weeks ago. And isn't it amazing? I made the point in the video that it's these same people who are getting all up in arms about misgendering people, like mislabeling people on the basis of gender, and trying to enact laws and regulations to severely punish people that will, in the next breath, either go out and label someone, or accept other people like them labeling people Nazis and white supremacists. Now, I don't remember ever seeing someone lose their job or be dragged through the mud socially for being misgendered. That happens all the time when people are labeled a Nazi. So it's fucking blatant hypocrisy, isn't it? Well, I mean, yeah, look at fucking Canada, for fuck's sakes. Land of hypocrisy. Yeah. I mean, I can't believe they passed laws that say if you call somebody sir and they're identifying as a woman, you're going to jail. I'm like, yeah, fuck you. Sure. Yeah. Good luck with that. Yeah, it's pretty. Here, it just astounds me that people are trying to do that here, and they say, oh, it's all because of equality and free speech. Well, my theory is this: free speech wasn't the First Amendment wasn't made to protect free speech you like.
Yeah.
It's made to protect free speech that you may not like.
Exactly. And when you think about it, I mean, you know, if you're calling someone sir, then that's really a sign of respect. Should we just start going, hey, cunt? You know, you're not going to go to jail for that, are you?
Exactly. The problem is, I was raised, and being in the military, you're raised sir, ma'am.
Yeah.
Those are things you are ingrained and drilled into your head. So, I found that even before all this bullshit started with, mispronouncing people, I'd call somebody ma'am and they'd get pissed off because now, what are you saying? I'm old? I'm like, no, you're female.
Yeah.
I was raised to call women ma'am if I didn't know. Just out of respect with breathing. I can call you asshole if you want me to.
We're not going to go to you're not going to go to jail for that. So maybe there's some merit in calling people asshole.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And my thing is, I like to strike nerves though.
Yeah.
One of my favorite lines is, I tell everybody I have a game for them to play. The members of the tribe called Moron. And the people look at me stupid-faced and slap-jawed, and like the inbred genes are just popping out of their eyes now. The game is called Speed Bump. I want you to go play Speed Bump. And they look at me, book a Speed Bump. I'm like, okay, you, and you go out to the middle of the road and lay down. See how many times you can get run over. Whoever gets run over the most wins.
Yeah. Oh, fucking hell. I like that. Well, look, we might think about wrapping it up, but it's been a fascinating talk, man. Look, thanks.
I've enjoyed the hell out of it, brother.
Yeah,
I appreciate it immensely.
We'll definitely do it again. I'm sure. And as I said, your channel is linked in the description. I'll be watching it with interest. I look forward to your videos, and everyone should go and subscribe to you, because I think you're gonna say some interesting things. But man, thanks very much for coming on. It was great to meet you.
It was my pleasure to have you. It was my honor to have you invite me on, brother. I appreciate it immensely.
Yeah, nice one. All right, man. All the best.
Take it easy, my brother.
All right, see you, mate.